launching a book called Miller Strong, Rewrite Your Story, Take a Stand, and Turn Your Past into Your Superpower. Author Erin Miller. That seems crazy to me, but it's happening. On Chad's 26th birthday, which is August 20th. If it doesn't quite happen that day, it's because we are still editing. So that's why we need your emails, because everyone here will get the very first notification of exactly when the book's coming out, but we'll know every day, and everyone that's here obviously follows me on social media and will know all those things. So anyways, I stand here in complete gratitude that I could be coming here to tell a story that is super hard. And I'm going to start by sharing a book that was written by Dylan Martin, which is Chad's best friend when he was going to college. And he writes it to Keaton. Keaton is my grandson. So he writes this to Keaton, which is Chad's son. So Chad's already passed away, and we find out a couple weeks after the funeral that Jamie from Chicago, Chad's girlfriend, is pregnant. I just need to get some water. I didn't bring it up. So this is how I'm going to start tonight, because I want everyone to know who Chad Miller was. And for a long time, I had a hard time remembering this part. So this is the book that Dylan wrote for Keaton. Hey, buddy, can't wait to meet you. My name is Dylan, one of Chad's many friends. I am writing this today while you were still in your mother's belly. I wanted to give you and your mother a keepsake in remembrance of your father. Your daddy, Chad, was a great guy. Words cannot completely describe Chad, but I'll do my best. He was a very caring, uplifting, funny person. He had the gift of lighting up a room as soon as he walked in. He was a terrific hockey player and teammate. His passion for the game and the love he had for his teammates set him apart from being just the average player. He excelled at scoring goals, throwing laser passes, and being a model teammate. He was always there to pick up someone after a rough game. Without him, the locker room will never be the same. His knowledge for the game, mixed with his love for the people around him, made him respected. When he talked, people listened and respected his leadership abilities. I had the privilege of not knowing Chad in the locker room or around the rink, but also on a personal level since I lived with him. Your daddy and I went through plenty of highs and lows, sleeping just 5 minutes from each other. I miss him dearly, but I find comfort in knowing he is still with me, sleeping while snoring, just 5 minutes away from me every night. He is still with us in spirit every day, watching over you and your mother constantly. He wouldn't have it any other way. When people ask me what kind of person Chad was, I can never say the right words. I rely on telling stories to paint a picture of who he was. My favorite story to tell shows how compassionate, sympathetic, and kind-hearted he was. I played on 2 different teams with Chad, the Ileana Blackbirds and the Robert Morris University Eagles. He was on both teams, very popular. In Ileana, he was the fan favorite, along with the locker room favorite. Everybody loved Chad. Parents, coaches, teammates, and fans. Same when he joined me in college playing for the Robert Morris University. Everyone instantly fell in love with the kid from the Great White North, as he would refer to his home country. On both teams, I noticed something about your father. I swear he was a magnet. Whatever situation he was in, people gravitated towards him. With all his popularity and attention he was receiving, he never let it go to his head. He never forgot who he was. He thought of himself as nothing special, no better than anyone else. He considered everyone equal, and when more popular guys on the team would pick on the not-so-popular kids, Chad never joined in. It would be easier for him to join in, but instead, he did the opposite. He had such a big heart and sought out the younger, not so popular kids on the team and looked after them, made sure they were included in every team event, and made sure they felt at ease. It was incredible to watch. A young man with arenas full of people hanging over him, waiting for his autograph and waiting outside to meet him. And his response to all the attention was, "Don't get a big head." It didn't matter who you were, a fan, a coach, a parent, a line mate, or a practice player. He treated everyone with respect and passion. He had courage many would have never taken in that situation. Courage to take the path less traveled. Remember that for later, when Josh Paget talks about Chad getting his spirit name many years later. Courage to not become selfish on or off the ice. He did whatever it took to win, whether it be scoring a last-second goal or setting up a guy for a last-second goal. It didn't matter to him, even if it was on the bench watching someone else become the hero of the night. He got the same euphoric feeling watching someone else succeed. He was a team-first guy. No one was left behind. I got traded to the Ileana Blackbirds mid-season. It was a tough transition between teams, and I can say with all the certainty I would not have lasted in Ileana if it wasn't for your father. He was the first person I met. Chad had no obligation to show the new guy around, but he did it anyways without anyone asking him to do so. He voluntarily met me at the rink to show me the locker room. He helped me with my gear and locker assignment. He directed me back to the apartment where I would be staying. He went out of his way to show me where he would be living, and since he lived across town, it didn't stop there. Instead of just dropping me off and going out with his night, he stayed with old friends. Such a nice guy that helped me more than anyone could know. No one else on the team talked to me for the first week playing for the Ileana Blackbirds, except for your dad and his Canadian friends, Josh and Damon. Where's Josh? Josh and Damon. That's just the way he was, always looking after other people. Putting others before himself was just part of his nature. Even though he is gone, I know with all my being, he is still looking after us, all of us, especially you and your mom. The way he looked after his teammates, your mom, and me, he is obviously doing it from up above. So then he goes on to tell Keaton, so now Keaton's 4, and I'm reading it here, but the Miller Show. So what does the Miller Show mean to whoever, I guess? To Dylan. My nickname for your dad was the Miller Show. I gave him the nickname after playing with him in front of the home fans in Ileana. He was without a doubt the fan favorite. People of all ages lined up to get the Miller Show's autograph. He was so interesting on and off the ice. He treated people with respect. He's standing over 6 feet tall with a goofy mustache. Chad stood out. It was impossible to miss him when he was on the ice. He was a power forward. His hockey knowledge made up for his slowness. He was a gifted player with an amazing talent to score goals. He scored some of the most beautiful goals I have ever seen playing with him in junior and college. What made Chad the fan favorite was not just the beautiful goals he scored, but his antics after he scored. The Miller Show nickname came from his celebrations after he scored. He always had something new up his sleeve, whether it be jumping into the glass in front of screaming fans, a full scoop of the ice, or a classic bow and arrow. He always played it up for the fans. He put on his own show. The name just fit. The media also loved him. The Northwest Ileana Blackbirds time followed the Blackbirds, and they couldn't stay away from your father. Of course, I didn't play hockey, so I just went and watched him. I didn't even really know what was really happening when I was watching him. So, I'll just finish off the book and then I'll talk about something else, but no one can ever take away Chad's goals or assists. Those will stand in the record books forever. Players will continue year after year chasing the benchmark your father set. Numbers on paper illustrate your father's elite hockey status. The goal column shows how many times he put the puck in the net. The assist column shows how many times he passed the puck to the goal scorer. The penalty column shows how many times he got in trouble for running his big mouth. Right, Kim? Is Cornell here? Hey, Cornell, remember the time that you and I got kicked out of a rink because of him? Yeah, okay. Okay. But there is no column for showing how many times he picked up a teammate up when he was down, how many times he stood up for a teammate on or off the ice, how many people loved him, how much he loved the game and his teammates, how friendly he was to others, how funny he was, how he was a great leader, how proud he made his family, and how proud I am to call him my best friend. No one can take away the impact he had as a league, on a player, just like no one can take away the impact he had on other people's lives, anyone that met him. Awesome. So there's just one thing also in this. It says what Hang Loose Brothers means. Dylan, Hang Loose Brothers was Chad's favorite expression. What it meant was just relax, enjoy yourself, and be happy. Before games, most of the team kept quiet and tense, anxious, and uptight. Not your father. He would use it to dance around to his own beat. He looked like a kid on Christmas morning before a game. He would put in his headphones, dance to the music, and randomly blurt out Hang Loose Brothers. What a goofy kid he was. He didn't care if people didn't like it. It was just his pre-game routine. So there's a little bit more to this book, but that's what I wanted to share about his book, and that's how I wanted to start tonight, because I want people to remember Chad for that. Because what happens is you get defined by who you are from what your situation is. Somewhat. So this was who Chad was. And, on November 19th, 2014, my family got the worst phone call of the entire, it's every single person's worst nightmare. Dr. Hall from Elmhurst Hospital. Are you Chad Miller's mom? Yeah. Guys need to get to Chicago as fast as you can. Your son's been brought in here. He's with his girlfriend. The hockey coaches are here, and they suspect a drug overdose. Okay, great. So me, Kaylee, my mom, my dad, instantly get in the truck and start driving to Chicago. And because I've seen this kind of stuff before in my experience of working at a hospital, this was not a good situation. So my phones kept on ringing, and we get to and I talk about this in more in detail, and I will later on, but basically we get down to Chicago, and 2 days before, my parents were just there watching him at the showcase tournament. So I'm wondering, how does this happen? So we get there, and yes, he is on life support, and it's tough. Because I'll just share a couple things what I feel like I can share today, because I can't share everything all the time. But yeah, so we walked in, and I'll immediately, family conference, we need this, he needs this, and here he is breathing on a machine's breathing for him, and he's on dialysis, and he's got a catheter, he's got all these things going on. And so, they tell me that we, at one point, and there's many other things we'll share about, but I'll just say my experience for these things is that every day they would take me to the chapel to pray. So that was awesome. But the first day, I'm like, I've never even prayed before. What am I supposed to be praying for? And they said, we just pray. So they would take me out of the room, and I'd go down to pray. And so for the first 4 days, I prayed for a miracle, because I don't know what else you're supposed to pray for. This is my son. I don't know what you're supposed to pray for when this happens. So every day there probably was some sort of miracle, of course. You can find miracles if you look for them, right? You can look for miracles. And then it was on around the 5th day, I think it was around the 5th day, that Uncle Brian comes in the room, and he says to me, everyone in here needs to be Miller strong. Uncle Brian, what does that mean, sitting here? You know it. You were there. I'm sitting beside Chad. You come in the room. Everyone needs to be Miller Strong in here. Uncle Brian, what does that mean? Well, the Miller girl cousins are telling us that we got to be Miller Strong. Who said that, Uncle Brian? I don't know. I'm like, Uncle Brian, just tell me. You're like my dad. Just tell me who told you that. And you're like, Amy and the girl cousins. I'm like, what does it mean to be Miller Strong in here? Because we saw outside of the hospital, Miller Strong was starting to trend all over the place. I don't really know. I didn't know what trending was at the time, but he had played hockey with lots of people. He's this Canadian boy that is going to university and now laying in a hospital bed with the worst case scenario. So Uncle Brian says, well, I guess in this room, it means we make decision by decision. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So thank you. So as the journey continued, it was about 6 days, and they started saying that there was not going to be a miracle. He was brain dead, and we had to make the decision to slowly take him off life support. But it was a beautiful, standing here today, it's beautiful because Erin, he could be a donor. He's a healthy 21-year-old. He could be a donor. So he could donate this, And so, these were things that I really had to think about, because if I'm saying yes to him being a donor, that means I'm saying yes to not bringing him back home. So these were really tricky things to kind of start thinking about. So yes, he's going to be a donor. What I decided to do is I'm going to start making decisions like, this is me laying in this bed and I'm Chad. What would Chad want for me? And I started doing that. I still do it today. So what would Chad want for me? Well, of course he would want me to be a donor. Why wouldn't he want me to be a donor? That seems kind of crazy to me, right? So, we go through the process of that. And then, we had to make arrangements for him to come home. But I had to phone Mackenzie Funeral Home in Portage. But thank God I live in a community where everyone knows us. Thank God that I can just phone someone and say, Jeff Dubois, I need you to come to Chicago and pick up my son and bring him home once he passes away after we take him off life support. Thank God we have Portage. Honestly, thank God. And it's about it's time to take him off life support, and we have to do it. And he lives for 2 more days after because he's healthy and 21. So someone like Tracy that's here, someone like Chad helped Tracy. So I'm really grateful for someone like Tracy for everything you're doing. So thank you. It's awesome. And when we were in the hospital, the other thing that happened is that not the RCMP, the Chicago, I think it was the PD police, came and talked to me. And I said to them, I literally don't know how this happened. I don't know how this can happen. He died of a heroin and cocaine overdose. This is 5 years ago, guys, remember? I'm like, how did he get heroin? He doesn't even have any money. That's what I said to them. And they said, honestly, you can go out and get heroin wherever you want. And he started talking a language that we didn't really know about. And they said, honestly, in 5 years from now, this is going to be killing your son's friends. And we prayed around his bed. My mom was there. Kim, the nurse, was there. We had actually the room was filled of people, but there was key people that prayed around his bed that one day I would be able to be his voice, that less people like Chad would be in this situation because of what his story is. And he's got a really long story, as we're going to keep on sharing along the way. And but before we take him off life support, I say to Kaylee says, well, we're going to make these wristbands. And they're going to say Miller Strong on them and hang loose, because what Chad knows about hang loose and what Miller Strong is. So we're going to make these wristbands, and we want them at his funeral because we don't ever want anyone to forget him. So we're doing this at the same time as he's living still. So these were really, really tough things. And we just took things one step at a time. We do the best we can every day. And on November 30th, 2014, our world broke into 7 billion pieces. He touched a lot of people's lives. In a short 21 years. So now we get back to Portage, and now we got to plan a funeral. We got to figure out how we're going to get him home. He's died on United States soil. We've got to bring him to Canada. There's all these things. And now we have to plan a funeral. After being in Chicago for 11 days, I'm like, we're not having a funeral. But of course we have to have a funeral. Now we have to write an obituary. And then we got to figure out where his funeral is. Then I got to figure out what he has to wear. And I'm like, can someone please make sure that Ken Rubisky ties Chad's tie? Because Ken Rubisky is the one that taught Chad how to tie a tie. So I know he's not here today, but I like that. So make sure you tell him that. So, and then holy crap, it was Christmas and no Chad, no tradition, completely heartbroken, devastated beyond words. So now Kaylee, she lost her brother, everything else, and she's 16 years old. Guilt, shame, regret, and post-traumatic stress almost put me in my grave. But the only thing that kept me alive was her. God bless that girl. So on October 2017, I completely ran out of options. I was trying everything to get better. I wasn't giving up. I was doing all sorts of things, and I'm going to keep on sharing that as we go along on our podcast and stuff. But Ben Mandel didn't recognize me. He's a friend of mine. I walked right by the hallway at the hospital. He didn't recognize me. I said, Ben. He's like, Erin? I'm like, I don't even recognize myself. And this is where he says, you know what, Erin? Maybe it's time for you to come talk to us again. He says, I said to him, I'm completely out of options. I've tried every single thing. I've tried it all. He said, well, the only thing I can suggest, and many people have suggested this to me along my journey, they said, maybe you should pray again. I'm like, well, honestly, I'm kind of mad at God. I'm really mad at God, actually. And he says, well, you decide. So I went down to, I drove home from Baker Colony. I saw all the crops. I saw the sunshine. And I thought, well, you know what? Either I believe or I don't. So I went down to Chad's bedroom, took his journal, took a note for my family, just in case I couldn't find Chad's purpose in his bedroom that day. October 2017, a couple days before the last hospital gala. And take my dog Finn, just in case something doesn't go right in there. I don't know what's going to happen, but I got to figure out what this bigger purpose is of Chad Miller dying, or I'm the bigger purpose and I'm going. And I'm okay with it. Because I'm out of options. I'm completely out of options at this point. I'm 200 and some pounds. I'm a mess. I can't do this anymore. So this is where it all changed for me. Said to God, either, and in that room, what happened was magical. All of a sudden I was like, okay, I got to, first of all, sell the house. And the story about me selling my house is amazing. I have to quit my job, but there's a couple key people I need to talk to before I quit my job. But the problem is that I had to give 3 months notice, and my house was going to be sold. So I'm quickly trying. I think I met Dr. Ross in the doctor's change. I'm like, Dr. Ross, I quickly need to tell you that I'm quitting my job, and I need to go and do something else. I just need to go get better. I need to go and get better. And I mean, of course I have a million dreams. I have a million dreams all the time, but one thing at a time. So I start getting better, and told Lori McFarland, you know what, Lori, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to go find myself. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to go live with Kaylee in Winnipeg. I have to sell this house. I don't even live here anymore. I don't even go to this house anymore. But that means I have to leave the Portage Hospital. And the Portage Hospital is really, really important to me. I mean, I started there when I was 17 years old. I've worked in all these departments. I've met the most amazing people. And that means I have to leave that too. And I have to clean out Chad's room. So what am I supposed to do with all these, like you said, trophies, medals, newspaper articles, clothes? The only people that get it, and the people that don't get it, I hope you never have to. So I said to her, Lori, I'm going to go and I'm going to find your daughter. Take a year off. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find your daughter. She's like, well, I believe in you, Erin. Why wouldn't you? Do whatever. Go for it. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I didn't know you were so scared I was quitting my job. I didn't know about that until tonight. So the other person that I want to kind of talk about tonight is Dr. Michelle Bales. So she would often come in my office and check on me. And she told me, Erin, now that you're taking a year off, you need to go and be a scuba diver. You meet all these amazing people. You travel all over the world. It's a community. You have a buddy system. And honestly, it's going to get you through your post-traumatic stress syndrome because you face your worst fear. You're underwater, and you have to be in control. Sounds like a really good idea. So I started working towards those things, meditating, doing mindfulness, yoga, eating better. And I wasn't getting triggered by working at a hospital anymore. All those times I was seeing people in the most horrible situations, and it kept on bringing me back to my own horrible situation that I never want anyone to see ever, right? But it was too much for me. So I go off and I be a scuba diver, and that was pretty incredible because I got to the bottom of the lake, at West Hawk Lake. Well, actually, I should go back just a little bit. So I'm practicing in the pool. I'm going to quit a million times. Actually, I did quit a whole bunch of times. And I went back because it's super hard to learn. But now I have to go to West Hawk Lake and do all my skills. It means you actually have to be under the water, take off your mask under the water. You have to put your mask back on. And then you have to take all the water out of your mask while you're at like 30 feet. And I've done this in the pool, but now I've got to go do it in the lake. But I've hardly done it in the pool. Like I passed, but so I know I'm going out there, and I finally go to the last dive shop to pick up all my tanks. Like scuba diving's a lot of work too. You have to carry your own tanks and all this kind of stuff. And I finally said to them, does anyone here know my friend Michelle Bales? Like I'm diving because she told me it was a good idea. We were going to go on this trip of a lifetime together in the next February. And all of a sudden this guy goes, I'm Jackie. I'm Michelle's friend. I said, you're Jackie that was going to teach me how to scuba dive? See, Michelle Bales passed away on October 17th. No, March 17th. March 17th, when I was just about leaving the hospital. So she said, I have all her scuba diving stuff here. I'm like, you have her stuff here, like for sale? And I'm like, I want it all. I'm like, how much is it? I'm like, honestly, like at this point, I'm like, I don't really care how much it is. I'm going to do a new hobby. I need equipment. And why wouldn't I want to buy her stuff? And like, look at this watch, you guys. So nice. So I said to them, I'll buy it. And I went out to West Hawk that day. Well, actually, in the meantime, I got diverted to go see her parents. And basically, I got all her stuff. And I knew I was going to go to West Hawk Lake. I was going to go to the bottom of the lake. And I was going to pass my scuba diving. And I get there. And who's my buddy is Easton, a hockey player that just won something in Portage la Prairie, Bantam hockey something. So the story just kind of keeps on going on. But the day that I showed up in Indonesia to go scuba diving, I show up at the dive shop with all my gear. All these people are like, oh my God, they think I'm a real scuba diver. Like, I know I got like my regular, like I dove one time in a lake in Manitoba, so I'm certified, but I show up with the best equipment. Well, I don't know it's the best equipment. I don't know anything about scuba diving, but I have the best equipment, so everyone expects me to pop in the water and be the best scuba diver. Well, this is the first time I've ever dove in the ocean, and I still don't know how to use this watch. Like, she has good stuff. Like, so then they're trying to tell me about break, and I'm just like, honestly, I honestly am just happy to go down and see some fish, and everyone's analyzing my equipment and, all this stuff. So I have my equipment here. So all of that stuff in the back is Michelle's. And so I dive, hashtag diving with Dr. Bales, and I dive with her, and we're taking pictures with her camera. So as we continue going, it's going to be really amazing how we, kind of go through that, because she had a lot of passion. And I don't know exactly what all her passions are, but I know her diving friend Jackie knows all of them. So we're planning a trip to Indonesia at some point. So if anyone wants to learn how to scuba dive, you should contact me, and I'll set you up with somebody, because it's actually really cool. Takes you all sorts of places, and and that kind of stuff. So the other thing that I want to talk about, because I know we're kind of strapped for time here, is that, sorry, I'm just going to go through some of these things because some people have talked about some of this stuff already. So I think I'm going to talk about when I was in Indonesia and how I got to the spiritual healer. So, or when I got to the spiritual healer, right? I'm not going to talk how I got there, but I meet Vas Golden in November 2018. And I tell him my whole story, everything. And I mean, nobody knows your whole story unless you share your whole story. We all have a story, but you share what you want. And I stay there for 7 days at his place with his family. And he does his first healing, and literally I opened my eyes and I felt like I could see again. I didn't even know I couldn't see. And he told me, "You are a sick girl." I said, "I told you so." And he says, "We're going to get you better." And I talk about this a lot in detail in my book, but we're going to get you better, and you're going to be okay. So I thank God that he led me to Vas Golden. Thank you. So at the same time, I'm at the spiritual healer. I don't know that this is happening because I know that someone has passed tobacco at a sweat lodge for Chad to get a spirit name. I don't know that's happening at the same time. I'm in Indonesia at a spiritual healer. So at Kevin at Aurora Recovery Center gets Chad, and I might be a little bit wrong on exactly what I'm saying, but he's giving Chad his spirit name. Since then, me and my mom have went and got it. And honestly, when we'll talk about it at another time as we're going forward, but Chad's spirit name is Swirling Thunderbird Man. He's from the Buffalo clan, and he gave himself for others. So I feel like we are on the right track with Miller Strong 17. So when I got the letter in the mail saying that Chad's eyes were the only thing that could be donated, I was devastated. Because that's the only reason that I said yes to this, because I was saying yes to this. And they said to me, "Well, one day someone will see through his eyes." I'm like, at the time, you think about grief and you're kind of, I was so mad I called them. I'm like, "Hey, you guys said that he could help like 200 and some people. That's what you guys told me. And now you're telling me you donate, that's all his eyes?" However, fast forward, here we are. I tell my mom about this. And my mom says, "Well, his eyes were donated to the exact same thing that Grandma Butler had." What's it called again? I can't remember right now, but there's something that my Grandma Butler had in her 80s that made her not be able to see very well or at all. And Chad's eyes now, how many years later, are being donated for that thing, the same thing that she had. So they said that one day that someone would, you see his eyes. So when I started wearing my rose-colored glasses, which are these, it says on them, and I didn't make this name up, it's Baker Miller Pink. So Ben Mandel is a huge part of my story. And when we were in Haiti, we were like, "How come these are called Baker Miller Pink?" And we all agreed that was probably God. And when I was at the farm the other day, I was like, maybe they need to be Butler Miller Pink, because I see through the eyes of my mom and my dad and Chad, because of Chad's eyes. So I'm really excited. I guess what I'm trying to say there is that how could I be disappointed that Chad has a child? He's got legacy. We have a child. We have a gift. He was a donor. I know exactly what happened to him, and I hate it. But we don't know what's wrong, where Amber is, or what happened to her. So this is where I get really motivated. So there's a song called Strong. Do you want to play that? Oh, they left? Okay, I don't know where she went, but basically there is a song from Linda Dobbin Turner called #Strong. If you were following on social media, most of you probably are, this song Linda made from a song from Chad's journal, and it is awesome because every single one of us has a story. We all have a story. And Some of them are better than others. And her son passed away also. And we're motivated to make some change together. So she took a song, and we call it Strong, and we have played it all over the place, and it's inspiring, and we can't wait to share with everyone. We were going to play it here tonight, but we're probably running late anyway, so it's fine. So now, were you going to ask me some questions? You talked about that, right? Okay, so do you have the questions? Yeah.
So these are questions, we put out a little request on social media asking if there was anything that anybody wanted Erin to speak about. So these are questions that we were given through that. The first one was, and it's already been answered, but I'll just ask you really quickly, $1 million question, what's the story with the basket?
Oh, I want to get a picture with Laurie McFarland, me, Ellen DeGeneres, and Linda Dobbin, and whoever else with my blessed basket. That's what I want.
Okay, perfect. Why do you want to be on the Ellen DeGeneres show?
Well, honestly, at the beginning, I just felt like probably she could help us with a connection of something. Because she knows people that would just listen to her story and be like, well, why wouldn't I see if I can lead them on to somebody that would whatever. But that was how many years ago, Laurie? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, 7 years ago? 8 years ago? So, I don't know how my basket is, but I honestly would love to get a picture with Ellen DeGeneres with my basket. Yeah.
So the next question that was asked is, what if you don't find Amber McFarland?
Well, honestly, me and Laurie have talked about this a million times. You don't know if you don't try in anything. So we're trying.
What do you do to keep yourself grounded?
Oh, I do all sorts of things. I meditate. I pray. I read my Bible. It's awesome.
What is the story behind the rose-colored glasses? Baker Miller glasses. You just answered that, I think.
Well, honestly, in my life, people have told me to take off my rose-colored glasses numerous times. And finally, I went and got a pair. And these weren't them. We have glasses there, but I actually got a pair of rose-colored glasses. And when you look through different lenses of glasses, it's a real thing, you guys. It's color therapy. You actually literally see the world in a different place. So when we were in San Francisco, I wore the yellow glasses all day. And when we got back to the hotel, I said to Laurie, was it cloudy like this all day? And she's like, yes. And I thought it was sunny. So this is where, when my depression was bad, things were not good, I was turning to anything anyone would suggest to me. And I started wearing rose-colored glasses. And I don't wear them as much as I used to because I don't really need to anymore because I feel the sunshine.
How can I become a scuba diver?
Well, you have to be determined, you have to be motivated, and you have to contact me, and I'm going to set you up with Jackie.
What is Ben's dream jewelry about?
Oh, Ben's dream jewelry is Lindsay McDonald and I went halfers. We bought $500 worth of beads in Indonesia, put a roof on a building, and then brought those beads to Haiti and employed some women to make these pieces of jewelry. And now we have them back in Canada. So Ben Mandel, last time I spoke to Ben, I said to him, what did you not do that you wanted to do? Because him and I are, and he said, honestly, Erin, every single person, at least in this world, deserves clean drinking water. And I agree with him. I totally agree with him. So we are helping, Baker Colony, honestly, is awesome. They're going to do it anyways, but it's the awareness. So when you buy a piece of this jewelry tonight or any time, Baker Colony is going to do it. Like we're going to try to make people have clean drinking water. So me and Lindsay, is Lindsay still here? Anyways, Lindsay and I started this business, #BenStream.
How do you forgive people who have treated you unfairly along your journey?
That's hard, but you know what? You have to believe that people are doing the best they can with what they've been given. And you have to believe that there's a right choice and a wrong choice. And sometimes you just have to move forward so you don't go backwards.
Absolutely. What are your prayer cards?
Oh, yeah, we have prayer cards because Lori answered that. They're from Brian, and yeah, it's awesome. And I've handed them out many times to people. I've handed them out to someone, and they see inspiration from these cards. So Brian, I phoned Brian. I'm like, Brian, I've handed out 7 prayer cards now. He's like, Erin, we can make you new prayer cards. I'm like, well, can you make some that I don't have to give away? Because I like mine. Like, can you make other ones? So he's getting these kids involved in making these amazing cards. And honestly, a card or a band or whatever can really just give you some strength and hope. Mm-hmm.
Last question. Are you doing a book signing? Where and when will your book be ready?
Oh, that is $1 million question. So, my dream is that it is launched on Amazon on August 20th, which would be Chad's 26th birthday. However, 2 months ago when I said to Joshua, the guy that's in LA that is helping me put the actual book together, he said to me, I said, what do you think? Like, it was around 3 months ago. I'm like, what do you think? Is it impossible to say it would be launched on Chad's birthday? It's August 20th. He goes, well, it's not impossible, but it might be unlikely. So we've been working really, really hard. He told me today, get everyone's email. We'll make sure that they're the first person that can buy the book, get the book. We're going to keep everyone posted, of course. So I'm going to keep on working really hard at getting the book done. And the closest it can be to his birthday is the best. I still have a feeling that it might be done on August 20th. So it is what it is. I'm launching it. I'm going to be doing something really cool on his birthday. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So one more thing. So I have been blessed with wisdom, knowledge, insight, grace, and vision. Everyone is welcome to the Miller Strong family. We all have a story. We all can take control to rewrite your ending. Moving forward, we have all sorts of things planned. But first, I have to go help harvest at the farm. I went to the farm the other day. I might have to go find my roots and do some harvest. So tonight, people here believe in something about Miller Strong, and I thank every single one of you. I believe 100% in equality for everyone. And I'm going to continue to share what I did in my own story and slowly start telling my story. It takes courage and vulnerability to share your story. But I can trust you when you start sharing your story. It actually propels you to, because you know that when you're sharing your story, someone's listening to you. And those same people I looked at to propel me. So when it's fine, we all have a story. So I'm talking about the crappy stuff, but every day I just go to the sunshine also. So it's hard to talk about these things, but Chad was 21 years old. I didn't want anyone to ever forget him, and I really, and I really got motivated, and I'm really, really proud to be his mom. So thank you so much for all coming tonight. I know it's a Saturday night in August, which is super hard to give up on. But we do need your emails. I'd love for you guys to take the bookmarks home. Those are bookmarks that would be put in the books when they're done. And then I just want to, last person that's on the stage here. So that song that Juanita talked about from Chad's Journal is getting played for the first time tonight. I've only heard it kind of randomly at Dave's shop. When was that, Dave? Like a couple months ago? A couple months ago. So Dave Rogers is a songwriter. Well, he's a whole bunch of other things, but he's also a songwriter. And I love this guy. He believes in people. And he believes in me, and I believe in him. So today I'm so happy to bring him up to get him and Lucy and Spence. So Lucy and Spence also wrote the song, I think, with, I don't know how that really works, but you're playing it for the first time on my parents' anniversary. And when I asked Lucian Spence at Dauphin Country Fest, I'm like, what happens, Lucian, if this becomes the golden song? Dave Rogers and I sold a sleigh ride for $10,000 for 1 hour. They called it the Golden Sleigh Ride. We've also sold Dr. Ross a pool party for $10,000. It's the Golden Pool Party. We've also sold Dr. Mueller a whole bunch of things for $10,000. It's called The Golden Guy. But I said to Dave, what happens if this becomes the golden song? I asked both of them. I said, what would we do? And Lucian's answer, we help more people. Good answer. Let's do the song. Let's call this Miller Strong. Thank you. Thank you all. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to share every single thing that's happening. And I'm still motivated to find Amber Farland. I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop. So come on up, Dave.
See where he wants to be.
Hey, Lucy, come on over here. Oh, you're hooked up? Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Usually when I'm on the mic, I'm auctioning or talking about selling something, but it's indeed a pleasure to be here. You know, for many years I've known the Millers. Actually, one of the first families I met when I came to Portage, and I've known Erin since she was probably this high. Really? And Chad, no, sorry, not Chad, sorry. Curtis, he was probably 3 when I think they were living on 3rd Street. Is that right, Mona? Anyways, it's indeed an honor to be here. I worked with Erin for many years at the hospital, helping raise money, and it was a lot of fun. I'm a little shaky. I'm usually not. But, you know, this is a really important and great cause to be here for everything tonight.
I love you.
Thank you. Erin came to see me many times and many years about raising money, but she came one day, she called me in the evening, asked me if I would write a song. Most of you probably don't know I write songs, and yes, I do, I have for years. And Lucy and me worked together for the last 5 years, which is indeed a pleasure with you. This song that Lucian's going to sing tonight was written from Chad's journal, second page. A few words, there wasn't a lot of words in there, but I took some of the words out to write the song. And it was like this, how important his mom was and how much he loved her and how much she loved her grandpa, George. And some of the words he used in there were how happy and lucky and blessed he was. I feel through this song that was written by me and sang by Lucian is coming from Chad Miller through myself and Lucian. This song is the first time being played tonight in the public. Wow, it's tough to be here. I'm sorry, I don't have one.
Be strong.
Okay, I'm Miller Strong now. This song is going to be sung by Lucian Spence. He's a well-known Canadian country singer. Just a few things about him. He's been in Nashville. I've been there with him. Memphis. He won the Manitoba Country Music Competition all the way to Dauphin. And I'm proud to be his partner in the music business. And it's called Mama, I Adore You. Ladies and gentlemen, Lucian Spence as soon as he gets his glasses on. Are you okay? And you know what? I'll hold the words here. I believe he knows the song, but I'll just hold it here.
I said, Mama, I don't always show me, but you know me, how much I adore you. family. I said, Mama, tell the world in my story. How happy as I was have you here. I said, Mama, and my grandpa, don't you worry, I'll always be near. I'm so proud to say how lucky I am. I'm blessed for making me. I'm so happy that you're a big part of me. I was raised in a great family. I was raised in a great family.
Thank you very much. We'll have another song. You want to do that one?
There's one other song that you wrote. I know you wrote it, and I know you play it because I have your CD. And I listened. You know how Lori was saying that she listened to Paul Shepard's song all the time? You know what song I listen to all the time? Giving Up is Easy. So when Lori was talking today about what Paul Shepard, on her toughest days, and still has tough days and all those kinds of things, she listens to someone like Paul Shepard that volunteered to, you talked about that tonight. So same thing as I was listening to your song that my friend Dave Rogers wrote, and I thank you. And if you would play that for us, that would be awesome. Thank you. Giving up is easy. Being strong is super hard and super easy. So God bless us all. Have a good night. Thank you.
We're all something. I never give up. Yeah, giving up is easy. In a world that's tough. And forget, yeah, where you come from. 'Cause giving up is easy. In a world that's tough. Yeah, giving up is easy. In a world that's tough. Take a chance and learn to smile. Never give up, 'cause giving up is way too easy. I'm so excited to see where it takes me. Yeah, giving up is easy. In a world that's rough. We have dreams and we have vision. Don't let life giving up is easy in a world that's wrong. So never, yeah, never give up. Thank you very much, folks, and thank you for having us here tonight.
We want you to play one more song, George says.
Oh,
We have a number 2 song in it's number 2 range right now in Canada. That's called Nashville already. We did it in Nashville.
this is a time drop.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
He has to do it, so.
Okay. Who is he?
George Miller.
I'm bugging. I'm bugging. Yeah. Are you ready? Let's get packed. We're gonna hit the road. Never ever look back. Move on over. Woo. Look out, Hank. Get the radar out. Not a smoke inside. That's Bill Ray, Silver Jones, here we come. Showdown window, Hank is willing for. Country music is what we're coming for. Yeah, we're Nashville ready. Look out, folks, here we come. Well, I pray. Music City, classic country is what I'm here to play. Music legend, woo, Michael Hank. Come on down, see the finest singers all around. Yeah, all right. That's Bill Ready, Silver Jones, here we come. Showdown window, Hank is willing to pour. And country music is what we're coming for. Yeah, we're Nashville ready. Look out, folks, here we come. Look out, folks, here we come. Music City, here we come. All right, thank you very much, folks.
So thank you for coming out, everybody. That's it. We just want to give a special thanks to everybody who helped tonight, and a special thanks to Irvin from Clear Light Sound for capturing this magic here tonight. He'll have it videotaped. Make sure you put your emails on the cards on the table if you would, please. And thanks to all the helpers. Have a great evening.